Welcome to the Northeast Notables Podcast, the best way to travel, discover new music, and hear exclusive interviews from the best small musicians in the Northeast. I'm your host, Jill Plante. Today, we're going to be in Boston hearing from the band Juniper. But first, let's take a little tour around Boston, learn some fast facts, and a little bit of history. So, you're not going to find any happy hour signs in Boston, because the typical post-work drink has been banned since 1984. I really don't know why, didn't look that much into it, but that's kind of whack. Now, in 1659 and 1681, Bostonians couldn't celebrate Christmas. It was against the law because pilgrims believed it to be a corrupt holiday if they had only seen Christmas in the 20th century. In the 19th century, it was supposedly illegal to take a bath in Boston without a prescription. I just saw this one and was really confused about it, and I thought more people needed to hear this fast fact. Imagine being arrested for abusing prescriptions when you're literally just taking a bath. Alright, let's get into the music. Here's Juniper's new single, Daydream, Brake Lights.
Never had the chance to see that you saw this as a passing thing. It got past me, thrown to the wayside, caught up in a mess with no escaping. Lost at sea, and oh my, well now I'm falling with nobody to catch me. Strung out on the hope that you would wanna see me again. I didn't think I need an exit plan. Could have shown you a promised land. No one else could ever know how to be a promised man. Oh, look how far we've come and yet how far we've got to go. Last night of the decade, wishing you were with me on the late night. On the late night, cruising through a daydream, never saw you beating on your brake lights. Didn't get an indication. Was one night not good enough? Out the door before I woke up. Strung out on the hope that you would wanna see me again. Never let me go. I didn't think I need an exit plan. Could have shown you a promised land. No one else could ever know how to be a promised man. Oh, look how far we've come and yet how far we've got to go.
Hi, we're Juniper. I'm Scott, and I'm the lead singer, and I play bass and guitar, but that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. I go by Shreve, that's my last name, and I play guitar and sometimes bass.
And I'm Alejandro. I go by Ale, and I am the drummer of the band.
Awesome. And I'm Jill, by the way.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having us today.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited. I'm excited to like start this project and talk to new bands. I
Yeah.
listened to your guys' music and I was like, oh my God, why aren't they so big yet? Like you guys are awesome.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, how did you guys meet and like what inspired you guys to start making music together?
So I started the band back in the summer of 2017, and it started as more of a collective of different musicians that would like with the centering point of the songwriting, because I've been writing most of the music up until now, and so that's kind of maintained consistency. But I met Ale the first day of college, fall of 2017. He was in my orientation group, and we just kind of like walked up to each other and were like, hey, like what's going on? This is weird, right? And then we just started talking about it. And we actually didn't play music together with him on drums until like April. It's like 7-8 months into our friendship, which is kind of funny, but cool. And then I met Shreve in February of 2019, actually randomly at a Guitar Center right in downtown Boston. He was an employee, and he was promoting this new program they're doing, which is like offering lessons, and I walked in and I was just like, whoa, I need to walk over here for a while. And so I eventually started talking to him, and then we jammed for like 40 minutes, and like a crowd was it was such a good vibe. And I don't know, the rest is on Wikipedia, but
Yeah, you guys all look like you could work in Guitar Center.
Yeah, I like that. But we like started playing music as a collective probably around April or like March of 2019. So we're going on to like 2 years of us three really being a band together. And I think like the bulk of like what we've been really focusing on the last 7 months, like this has been the iteration of the group. It's been us three for the last like 6 to 7 months. So we've really been able to like hone in on our craft and really just make the best music possible, especially it being solidified as us three being in the group.
Yeah, I feel that. I've seen a lot of bands, like local bands, go through so many people, and then when they finally get that like solid core, their music just becomes like infinitely better.
Mm.
So,
It's just like it's natural when you get the right group.
yeah.
because we're young, people want to make different music as time goes on, or people don't want to make music at all anymore, and that's cool. But it's just, we're so lucky that we consolidated, like Ollie was saying, in terms of our sound, and just our identity. Even it's just like this is the band, and it just feels really good.
Yeah.
We're always on the most important thing I think for like a band is like for everyone always to be on the same page, and like us three are always like, if we're not making music, like we're hanging out watching a movie together, like we're good friends, you know what I mean? So it all just like works out in the end, not only with music but with friendship and just like hanging out.
He's my brother.
All right. So how would you guys like describe your music? Somebody who's never like heard it.
So it's got a wide variety of sounds. We kind of blend genres a little bit. We have a lot of different influences between the three of us, but lately it's been on more of the pop side, alternative pop, rock, with some R&B influence. We definitely dive into some rock sounds and more blues sounds, funk as well. Scott, you wanna?
Yeah, you're hitting the stops. Yeah, so good. Also like folk a little bit too. Like
Forgot about it. Yeah.
Very eclectic. It's like very colorful. When we talk about our music with each other, like sometimes we'll talk about it in terms of like how it makes you feel in terms of color, which is maybe weird and random, but like Daydream, the last song, with the colors that we had talked about had been kind of this more hue looking, like changing of daylight to nighttime, and like just having like that kind of like focused color that you can then associate with like emotions and different ways to just classify the music or separate it within like our own heads. Like a new song we're working on that we actually just got a final mix of last night. what I would say would be like ocean blue, you know, like it's just like that. I feel like, I mean, guys, you can chime in here too, but like I feel like identifying songs in colors is like a unique way that at least I try and go about doing things, and I feel like we've talked about it before, but
I also think like when with the music that we're doing right now and like working on a lot, we have so many different influences, not only by genre, but like by time period, which I think is like super interesting with like what we're trying to do right now. And what I love about our music is it has so many influences from like early 2000s, some 90s, and then we like bring it all in with like a lot of sounds that are happening right now that are popular. So you kind of have like what Scott was saying, eclectic sound of coming from all these different genres, different time periods. And that's what I love about our music is like when we get mixes, like it's the only thing I'm like listening to. And I think a lot of that is because like I find it to be like incredibly new popular music that like I just like haven't really heard. And I think that's super important for like band members to feel that way about their music. And that's what I've loved about just like being able to make music with these guys, because we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different ideas of what stuff would sound, but we always come together and make it work in the end. So it's really cool.
Nice. So you guys mentioned you have a mix coming out. So do you guys like record like locally, or do you guys do it yourselves? Because it always just sounds so professional and good.
Thank you. Yeah, we do record ourselves. We do all the, well, lately this past year we haven't really, like, it's not very easy to get in a studio with someone and like be all in person, right? So we've kind of adopted the remote recording method where we're just all is there right now at our like kind of, we set up a home studio sort of place at All A's house, and we've been recording drums, vocals, sometimes guitar, but I actually do a lot of the guitar recording right here in my room. I have a remote recording set up right there, and so I don't know, we kind of record ourselves, send our stems to the producer, and just put it together like that.
And I think it's also, I mean, it's really nice when you like kind of have a DIY approach to it.
Yeah.
Just because like when you're in a studio, like in our past experiences, like the last 2 years working at studios, like you have an 8-hour day and like you have to pay for that, and you have 8 hours to get what you want. And whether it's a couple days or whatever you want to do, like you have a time limit on what you have to do. And that, I mean, obviously puts a little bit of pressure on you. Like you have to come in super prepared. You got to know what you're doing, and
It's
it's got to be,
it's hard to be creative with
yeah.
it's like that. Yeah.
Especially with a time limit. Like if Shreve is having a solo, like we don't want him to work on it at the studio for an hour. We want him to work on it for 8 hours, because it's like just like the perfect opportunity for him to think about what he wants to do. And just like being able to do it, we've been able to do all of our music the last like 6 months on our own, and it's honestly just like a blessing to be able to like have the equipment, have the space to be able to like create the music on your own, because that's when you're just going to be the most creative, is when you have your own space. You can just be with your friends and just hang out and see what happens. So I think if any musicians are going to listen to this, like get the equipment if you can. Like DIY approaches are unbelievable to really take, you know?
Yeah.
This project we're working on right now has probably been recorded in 4 different bedrooms and a living room and a basement. Yeah, it's like my closet has heard a lot of bad notes, but and so has Ollie's parents when I'm recording in the basement. Also, thank you to Ollie's parents for letting us stay at your house and play loud.
Yeah, they've loved all the music coming out, so it's working.
Nice. Yeah, I always wonder like how do drummers' parents like actually feel when their kid is in the basement like doing this
Exactly.
all
Well,
day?
my dad was a drummer back in the day, so my dad's band, like in the 90s, they would rehearse at my house while I was a baby, while my brother was a little kid. My mom, like, she's
your
been
mom's
through
like,
it. So
yeah, she's
she, like,
never had
gets
a
it.
break. And she's
But my dad's band was like a punk, like ska band. So my mom's like, your
oh
music
boy.
is so much more pleasing. Like, you guys keep
Yeah,
doing what
your
you
music
gotta
is
do.
pretty relaxing.
Yeah.
No, but to Ollie's point though, being able to do it DIY, it is a privilege, and we are so grateful that we are able to have a space or spaces where we can work remotely. But it just gives you more time and more time to make things perfect. And because like Sheree and all I were saying, when you're in a studio, time is money. Like you're paying, like 8 hours is a long time, but you're paying for every minute you're there. And that has a different vibe, and that's unavoidable. But if you're doing it over a weekend with the only person telling you like, hey, let's stop is yourself because you need to eat food, like it's just you get a more honed in specific, it's like a more meticulous approach that I think is something that we really love to do, because we just get to get exactly what we're looking for on our standards.
Yeah, it definitely comes across in the music. It definitely does.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was like, I did a lot of research. It just like went through your Instagram, and I saw that your Spotify like recap was like really good. You had like 1 million streams. What do you think caused that? Like, were you guys on TikTok or Instagram, or what do you think caused that?
Social media has been really helpful, especially during COVID, because that's really the only platform that we can engage with like our audience and have people like know who we are. Because like the goofy like shit that we do on stage is just translated to TikTok or translated to Instagram stories or stuff like that. And even though it's definitely not a supplement, it still is just all we can be doing right now. So that I think has been a big way that we've grown. We've had a couple big pushes on TikTok with a couple videos, and like that's always exciting and kind of surreal. But I think when it comes to I remember when we had 149 monthly listeners for months, and now we're at I think like 83,000. Like that, I'm literally floating right now. Like, this is just so is so surreal. And I think that growth just comes from us, no matter what, always working. And like even in the most uncertain moments and or hardships or change, like the only thing that we have always kept constant is just pushing forward, even if we don't even know what we're doing, but just keep working, because it just feels it doesn't even feel like work. It's just like this is life. It's just what we have to do.
And I think another point to that, like what Scott was talking about, is like when you hit like every band, every artist is going to hit adversity at some point, whether it's changing band members or like sequences of like where you're going to record, like what's the next project. Like as long as you have 3 people who care about it, love making music, and can come together at any moment and just have fun making music, I think like that's just like the starting point. And we've hit adversity at times, but we always overcome it by just saying like, let's just keep going. Like there's no point in not stopping if we love doing this, So I think like, especially with like the growth that we've had, like you said, we had 1 million streams last year. A lot of that, like the 1 million streams happened before we started even using TikTok, like fully, like, cause we started really using TikTok around like November, December, where it started really popping off a little bit. And before that, I think it's really just like thinking about the projects that you're doing. And personally, like I think like every release that we've had has been better than the last. And you always like that has to be the mindset with the music that you're making, is how do you make the next release better than the last one? Like what's gonna make a difference in your audience? What are they gonna feel differently when you release this next song? And we've seen that results from the fans that listen to us. Like everyone that we've talked to, they always say like every song is better than the last. And I think that's a very important approach to have as a artist, as a band, as a singer-songwriter, is you always have to push yourself to just make sure the product that you release next is going to be better than the last.
Yeah, I love all your music. I think everything is great, but it's definitely, I definitely hear differences and improvements and all that.
Especially too, like because that's the biggest obstacle, is always trying to find that person or group of people that just understand what you're trying to do. And the person we're working with right now, Philip Etherington, is not only such a good friend of ours, but just the way he thinks about how things should be, dependent on the song, dependent on the moment in the song, is more often than not completely aligned with what we want. And that comes from just like trusting each other, like the 3 of us. Like we always say, no matter what, if the 3 of us are on board with something, then we gotta do it, because like that, because people are gonna always try and impose opinions or
Yeah.
say what they think, and like that's cool, and opinions are important to hear, but not always important to follow through on. And like I think sometimes that can get lost, but at the end of the day, the three of us trusting each other is what pushes everything forward. And I think that's why we've been growing so much, is because we've just really consolidated everything. It's been like, this is what we want, and we trust everybody in this room. Like it's literally family at this point. So
Nice.
I love you guys so much.
Hey,
So in your new music video, Daydream, which is a great song by the way, you guys shot this there was a shot in front of this like beautifully lit theater. You guys were just like strolling along. There's a sign that says hope, love, respect, equality. I think it's like really telling to the times. Did you guys just find that? Was that planned? Did you guys make that happen? And how'd you get that shot?
So Scott, you wanna talk a little bit about how we thought about that location and
Yeah. So so we've been working with one of the most talented and just brilliant like videographers, directors like I've known. Nick Romano. He goes to school with me at BU. We're both seniors, but he's made all of our music videos, and we like the day before were scouting locations to shoot for Daydream. And I had remembered that it's a place called Theater District in Boston. It's like right behind the Commons, like closer to downtown.
Yeah.
Where there's just these beautiful, elegant theaters that have just these crazy lights at nighttime. And so I had known that the Paramount had that kind of neon, old school, like old movie theater type of lighting, but we had no idea that that banner was going to be displayed. Because I think that's a result of like the current political and social climate that like they're showing that they are in support of what's been happening in civil society, like just everything that's been going on. And I think it was such a beautiful coincidence because it happened on random, but it also completely represents how we treat each other, how we treat people that we work with, how we treat people that we don't even know. It's just I mean, hope, love, equality, respect. Those are definitely four morals that I want to live by, and I think try and ethically practice like every day. So yeah, that was just like a beautiful thing about life. I don't know. We just stumbled into that and we were like, well, what the heck? We have to show this somehow. And Nick's like, dude, I got the lens. This wide shot's gonna look great. We gotta go. All right. But
yeah, it definitely did. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
So where's like one of your favorite places to play in Boston before COVID?
I really enjoyed playing at these two places, Thunder Road and Great Scott. Sadly, they're both closed permanently because of, but they were great venues and so much fun to play there.
I personally loved those locations. I mean, those were some of our most like fun shows that we ever had. Before pre-COVID, obviously, I loved the like the DIY shows, like the basement shows that we had a couple of them, like in the fall of 2019. And those are just like so fun just because like the energy is just so intense and like it's so fun because the band is like right in the front and the fans are right there in your face. So like there's no better energy than like having all the lights off with a packed basement with 100 people and just everyone going crazy. Like there's nothing
those are some of my best memories. I went to like one show and somebody took out the wine from the bottle of the box wine and was passing it around.
Cheers.
That's the best.
Slap that bag.
And like that would never happen now. Imagine like just a bunch of strangers sharing a bunch of like box wine.
Oh my god, that would not go.
Sure,
those were the days.
No, but house shows are a beautiful assortment of beautiful people, and everybody loves music, and it's such a good energy. And it like all I said, like the intense, there's just so much energy. Like it is tangible. Like it is a breeding ground. Like that is where you make the connection with people that you play music. Like that is such a raw and Yeah. Oh my God. I was actually talking with a friend who lived at a house. Shout out Tourist Trap, great venue. I was talking to him last night, and he was saying something about that I hadn't even thought about. But because of COVID, there's a generation of people that have not experienced the house show scene to its fullest extent, and you know,
Yeah.
the house show scene will always be a cyclical event. You know, like the show, like houses die out, new ones come in, and you know, people just keep kind of coming. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the scene in Boston in terms of like the underground scene, without with like a small generation of people that kind of have just missed out, and you know,
Yeah.
the passing
Yeah.
of the torch will be different now. And I think it's of course it's going to survive. People won't let it die, but I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the best way that like people listening can support you guys when we're not having concerts or like live shows?
I'd say streaming is the best way to start. Right, streaming our music on all whatever platform you use, um, and then second up would be social media. Right, so we've just been trying to push a lot on social media, TikTok, both TikTok and Instagram, and just currently happening. We're kind of in the process of releasing a merch line. So if you stay tuned on social media, you'll see we're doing weekly merch drops, I believe. All right, we're doing little drops here and there. Yeah, it's still
Really exciting stuff.
yeah.
Scott, do you want to say like what we're doing for the merch?
Yeah, sure. But yes, Shreve nailed it. Streaming is super important. Social media is super important. We're weird and fun and crazy, but like, I don't know, come hang out with us. We're cool. And I think we're cool, kind of. But in terms of merch, this is a new thing that we're starting, because, you know, like we said before, when you asked about hope, equality, respect, and love, right? Like that, I think can be translated to many different things. And I think another thing that we're all passionate about, is sustainability and the environment and social issues. And I think, you know, something that we had noticed or are noticing and that we love too is like secondhand, upcycled, thrifted clothing, or just sustainably sourced material for clothing. Because the clothing industry like is kind of problematic in terms of like,
Yeah.
you know, its contribution to climate change. And I think, you know, we have been always trying to find ways where we can engage in and start and promote and bring awareness to different business opportunities or partnerships or working with other bands or artists, but to promote sustainability. And so I think that's why we're so excited about this merch line, is because it's all thrifted clothing. And we have a patch, like an ironed on and then stitched on patch that goes on each item of clothing. So it's everything is individualistic. Like there's not going to be the same of one item. And I think that also kind of reflects our music, because our music is kind of very eclectic. And I think the pieces for this merch are going to definitely have that same type of feeling of like, wow, this is mine. Like for each person that gets it. And the merch looks so good. We saw it last week. This, like our friend and partner that we're working with, who works for a company that she started called Thrifty Revisions. I think they're under brand change right now. They're changing their name to Etika. But she is so talented, Brianna Furtado, and it's her birthday today. But
Happy birthday.
wherever you are. But she just has such a good eye for clothing and style and fashion. And she's super passionate about sustainability and upcycled clothing. So we were like, well, let's do something together. So that's going to be a huge thing that we're going to be pushing, because I think it's just going to be really fun having people have like merch. We haven't really done merch before. We've done like stickers here and there, but money. And we had like one line of t-shirts like about a year ago, but it's just hard with how much money it costs and how
Yeah.
few and far between during COVID. But you can definitely be up to date on this merch line coming, by following our social media accounts. We're also on Twitter. New to Twitter.
Yeah.
Scared of
Do you guys
Twitter.
know the handles? Want to plug those quick?
At Juniper the band on pretty much everything. Yeah.
All right.
Juniper. No spaces, no caps, no hyphens, no colon.
All right. So we have a few minutes left before it kicks us off, because I did not pay for the longer Zoom format. So quick, what's your favorite song to play, and then what specific platforms can we listen to your music?
Our favorite song to play.
Or just like each viewer's favorite song to play, whatever ones.
I think it's kind of changed since we brought in new music, but my favorite song that we used to play in live shows was an old one, Like It Used To. It's called Like It Used To. That was a throwback before I even joined the band. An old original Juniper song. But now I still like that one a lot. I don't know now. I don't know. Daydream is a lot of fun. I gotta say, Daydream is like an all-time favorite for me.
Nice.
For me, I loved back in the day. I loved playing Here for the First Time. Like that was always like a good crowd song to get everyone going. But right now, I think I love playing our single from December, Angelina. I've always just loved the drum groove that I did for
That's a
that
good
song.
one.
It's always just fun to just like jam out on that and shake our heads and go crazy.
Yeah.
A similar answer for me with JPJ. I think like that definitely has the most crowd involvement.
Yeah.
And, like has the potential in a show to bring the whole room to that other space, that four-dimensional ether. The place where Matt McConaughey is during Interstellar, you know, with the bookshelves, like we bring him there. No, but yeah, like anything we can get people doing with us, like, is just such a good energy. But also right now, we've just been grooving a lot on this instrumental funk thing that Shreve wrote, and I don't know, I'm in such a funk headspace, dude. Like I'm being weird about it, but we just gotta, we have to play a funk set. I'm just trying to get up in a black suit and put the whole black and white film, and we just rip like 4 songs.
Nice. Why not? I mean,
Yeah, I know. Hopefully it solidifies. I think we're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, will happen.
all right. Well, look out for their black suit, funk, black and white thing. All right. Well,
Black tie
thank
event.
you guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. It was really
Thank
fun.
you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. I saw you cross the room. I know you did too. We spoke the other day. I told myself I'd never feel this way again. All over again. Very quickly it made me feel my world is spinning, nothing's real. 'Cause Angelina, you stole my heart. Angelina, a brand new start. Well, Angelina, you woke me up. Finally, I realize it's not too hard to say. Hey, how you doing? Angelina, did you know I'm in love with your laugh when you crinkle your nose? It could be minutes or hours when we're alone. There's comfort in the thought that I've never needed to think twice. No, I never. 'Cause goddamn Angelina, you stole my heart. You know, Angelina, a brand new start. Well, Angelina, you woke me up. Finally, I realize it's not too hard to say. Whoa. it's not too hard to say, hey, how you doing?
Thank you again to the band Juniper for coming on and being such amazing guests for my first podcast. I really suggest that you guys follow them on any social media at Juniper the Band. These guys are literally so sweet and wholesome, and their music is just really good. Next week we have another band from Boston, the Q-Tip Band is coming on, so listen for that, and until then, have a great day, have a great week. This is Jill Plante, and this is the Northeast Notables Podcast.